For decades, this was the story of Indian defense. We were heavily dependent on imports. We bought fighter aircrafts, missiles, and air defense from Russia, Rafale jets, avionics from France, air engines, missiles, helicopters from the US, and drone radars from Israel. In fact, we were the world's biggest customer who was spending billions of dollars on other countries for weapons to secure our own borders. With every purchase, we were also importing something else: dependency. So we were building a fortress but with borrowed bricks. But what if I told you that story is over now? That in the last 10 years, India has quietly flipped the script. We are not just buying the bricks anymore, we are building the entire fortress, right from the foundation to the flag that flies on the top. And for the first time in our history, global investors are not looking at India as customers, but they are looking as creators, a profitable, scalable, long term powerhouse in global defense, an opportunity where they can invest for the long term. And I recently got my hands on something fascinating: a 141-page blueprint from Goldman Sachs, who is one of the world's biggest investment banks. And the blueprint is titled India, Aerospace and Defense, Growing Domestic Security, Globalizing Supply. And it lays out exactly why global investors believe that India is on the verge of a multi decade boom. So, today we are going to decode this blueprint together, and we will uncover the 5 incredible transformations that are turning India into a defense giant. And yes, we are going to talk about the companies which Goldman Sachs believes are writing this new chapter. And they have also given rating for these 5 stocks with targets. So this is not just a policy change. This is a revolution, and it is happening right now. So, how did we get here? Let me paint the picture for you. For years, our defense story was one of delays, inefficiency, and missed opportunities. Our public sector unit was working hard, but the private sector, almost invisible, innovation limited, and the world, they saw us as a market to sell to, not a competitor to watch out for. But then came a turning point, a phrase that sounded like a political slogan but became a declaration of independence for our defense sector: Atmanirbhar Bharat, self reliance. And the results have been nothing short of extraordinary. In 2010, the private sector's role in Indian defense was almost zero. And today, there are over 400 private companies, 13,000 small businesses, and an entire army of innovators building everything from drone parts to missile components. And we were ranked 40th in global arms exports in 2010. Nobody at that time. But today, we are in the top 25, and we are just getting started. The government is now targeting defense exports worth 50,000 crores by 2029. That is more than double where we are today in just 4 years. And India's defense sector is no longer import driven. It is innovation driven, and we are looking to export. So, what is driving this incredible transformation? See, it comes down to 5 powerful stories unfolding at once. Now, the first story is the most powerful: indigenization. India has banned the imports of 500 plus critical defense items, from fighter jet components to advanced radar systems. So, this is not just a restriction, it is a declaration that these are going to be designed, developed, and built in India by Indian engineers and in Indian factories. And this move alone has given our companies something priceless: decade long visibility. The second story is the new battlefield: defense electronics. See, modern wars are not won by steel alone, They are won by software, sensors, and AI, the nervous system of a modern military surveillance, intelligence, and communication. And Indian companies are right at the center of this revolution. The third story is the shift most investors miss: dual use technology. Defense innovation is no longer confined to the battlefield anymore. The same materials, the precision engineering, and the electronics used for fighter jets and missiles are now powering the EVs, medical technology, renewables, and even the space. So these companies are not just selling to the army anymore, they are selling to the future. The fourth story is India's new identity, from a buyer to a seller. In 2017, India's defense exports were just 1,500 crore rupees. And last year, 21,000 crore rupees. Now that is a 14x jump. Countries like Philippines, Armenia, Sri Lanka, and Mauritius are now turning to India for their defense needs. And the fifth story is the engine behind it all: the rise of the private sector. This revolution is driven by 400 plus private companies and 13,000 MSMEs, bringing innovation, speed, and global ambition that Indian defense ecosystem lacked for decades. So now that we understand the revolution, let us meet the revolutionaries. And yes, our PM wants to make India one of the top 5 defense exporters by 2030. And as a result, big investment firms like Goldman Sachs has identified 8 key players in this space and has given 6 buy calls, 1 hold call, and 1 sell. So now let me walk you through each one of them. First is Solar Industries. Think of solar as the master of energetic materials, India's largest industrial explosive player, and now a serious defense force. And Goldman Sachs believes that Solar Industries is positioned perfectly to benefit from the global shortage of energetic materials. So they have developed Nag Astra, India's first indigenous kamikaze drone, along with Bhargav grenades, rockets, and ammunition. And in the last 18 months alone, Solar has received 17,100 crores in defense orders, and Goldman Sachs expects 25% CAGR growth, with defense revenue crossing 8,000 crore rupees by FY 2029. And Goldman Sachs sees a target of 18,215, which is around 25% upside from here. And there are some key risks to monitor. First key risk is the order delays. Second is the execution, as defense is a new territory for them. Third key risk is volatile raw material cost. And fourth are the regulatory changes. Second, PTC Industries. Now these are the forgers of impossible metals, titanium, and super alloy components used in aerospace. And PTC is among the few global players to develop single crystal blade technology critical for aero engines. And after rallying a lot in the last few years, valuations are expensive, but Goldman still has a buy call for PTC Industries because this company offers the highest growth potential in the aerospace and defense companies under coverage, which is driven by capacity expansion. And Goldman Sachs expects revenue CAGR of 70% till FY 2030 and PAT CAGR of 123% till FY 2028. And Goldman Sachs' 12-month target is 24,725, which is nearly 48% upside from here. Now, the third company is Astra Microwave, and they are the masters in the invisible world of radio frequencies. Their radar and electronic warfare system are the true eyes and ears of our modern defense forces. Now, Goldman Sachs expects revenue growth of 18 to 20% CAGR till FY 2030, taking revenue from 1,000 crore rupees in FY 2025 to 2,500 crore rupees. And based on this, Goldman Sachs has given a target of 1,455, which is about 33% upside. Fourth is Data Patterns, and Data Patterns is a high-end defense and aerospace electronics company supplying critical components for LCA, helicopters, and the BrahMos missile program. And the company focuses on three verticals: radar electronics, electronic warfare, and communication systems. And they have developed 9 radar systems for the Indian Army and Navy with strong export potential due to cost competitiveness. Now, financially speaking, revenue and PAT CAGR was a staggering 30+% from FY 2022 till FY 2025 and is expected to grow at 20+% till FY 2028 with margins around 38%. And based on that, data pattern revenue is expected to reach 13,000 crores by FY 2028 and PAT at 3,870 crores. So Goldman Sachs 12-month target for data patterns is 3,640 rupees, and from the current levels that is an 30% upside. Now the key risk for data patterns include order delays as 60% plus revenue is coming from government or the PSUs, and any slowdown in contract awards or project delivery will directly impact their earnings. Now another risk is high customer concentration. Nearly 75% revenue is dependent on DRDO, MOD, and BrahMos. Losing any key customer due to rising competition or changes in the defense spending could hurt their growth. And then comes the giant Bharat Electronics, India's flagship defense electronics powerhouse with a high visibility order book with 70 plus product lines across missile systems, sonars, and military communication. So BEL is a key supplier for almost every major DRDO program. And Goldman expects BEL's order book to reach 92,700 crore rupees by FY 2028, considering current and potential pipeline of orders. Revenue and PAT growth is projected at around 15% CAGR till FY 2030, with FY 2030 revenue near 36,155 crore and PAT around 7,900 crore. And based on this, Goldman Sachs has given a 12-month target of 455 rupees, which is about 9% upside. Now, the key risks to the growth include technology misalignment, as evolving modern warfare tactics and disruptive defense technologies could reduce relevance of current offerings. Second key risk is the company is heavily dependent on domestic defense. Spending any slowdown in orders from the Ministry of Defense can impact their earnings. Now, the third key risk is raw material and component supply risk remain elevated due to geopolitical tensions, increasing the chances of supply chain disruptions in the defense ministry. Lastly, rising competitive intensity in the Indian defense sector could put a pressure on their margins and market share going forward. And as for the other companies, Goldman Sachs remains neutral on Hindustan Aeronautic Limited for now and has given a sell call for Bharat Dynamics Limited due to their steep valuation. So what does this all mean? India's defense story is no longer about catching up. It is about leading. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these companies excites you the most and which theme do you think has the most potential? Let me know in the comments below. And this video was made to show you how Goldman Sachs is looking at the defense sector right now. And at Rangavan Finance, we are keeping a wait and watch rating. Any correction in the valuation will push us towards a buy rating. But for now, it is a wait and watch from our side. And this was Sanika from Rangavan Finance, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.